Good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Sunday, July the 6th, 2025. And only a couple of days before I head off. Excuse me, just trying to get organised. I haven't even started to get organised for the trip yet. So I better, I suppose, get onto that today because I'm a little bit busy tomorrow. So I better get everything out and make sure it's charged and it still works and maybe my flight's still on time, all that sort of stuff. But I'll do all that today. It's coming around really quick, 2 days. So it's going to be fun though, going to be fun. Good to take you all along with me for the ride. All right, on this day, where are we, 1966, Curtis Coates, I should say, won the welterweight world title. Jesus, mate, calm down, these cockies. By defeating Cuba's Luis Manuel Rodriguez by decision. So, what did I say? That was 1966. Yep, 1996. In Manchester, Vincenzo Nardiello won the world super middleweight title with a win over Thulane Malinga on points. In 2002, we all remember this little Mexican terror, Jorge Arce knocked out Korea's Yosam Choi in the 6th round for the world light flyweight title. And in 2019, Nordine, how do you pronounce that? Ulbawi, has pronounced it, the French fighter, defended his world bantamweight title with a knockout of Filipino Arthur Villanueva in 6 rounds. That's what took place as far as boxing goes. Now, there's one more thing I was going to mention as far as on this day. Now, not technically boxing related, but this man means so much to, I think, every boxing fan that has ever existed. And his name is Sylvester Stallone. It is Sly's birthday today. He was born in 1946. What's that make him? 79 years old. Amazing that he's 79 years old. And, well, we don't really have to sing his praises enough, do we? Or we can't sing his praises enough. What this guy has done to I suppose the sport of boxing. I mean, we all grew up with it, with the movies I'm talking about. And I'm going to say I'm 100% positive. It's probably 101% positive that he's influenced so many people that got into the boxing game. Now, I will say I'm not one of them, although that was right at my time. Well, I was too young when they came out, but when I was old enough to watch the movies, I did love the movies, of course, just like everyone, but didn't exactly make me become a boxer. But I tell you what, definitely inspired me in just loving the sport even more. And those movies, just iconic movies, the Rocky movies. What am I looking for? There it is. But 1976? I think it was the first one came. Or was it 75? Whatever. I think it was 75 when the first Rocky movie came out. We all know the stories about. He had to sell his dog Butkus to pay for food, and the studio. This is a guy that was flat broke, had nothing, and the studios wanted the script. Of course, he was inspired by Chuck Wepner's performance over Muhammad Ali. Just inspired by it. I know Chuck Wepner got a little bit of a payout because of it. I think I suppose it's all right to look after him in some way, but it's not like Chuck Wepner helped write the script, was it? I mean, he was just a guy who got battered by Muhammad Ali for 15 rounds and lost at the distance. But anyway, he's become famous because of it. But he wrote the script, I think, in 3 days, took it to the studios. They wanted the script, but they didn't want him. They offered him big money just to hand the script over and be gone. But he held firm and told them they could stick his, I think it was like 300,000 or something like that, which is a lot of money in 1975 or whatever it was, to hand the script over. It was, for a guy that had nothing and was living on the arse of his pants. I think, is that the term? You know what I mean? But he held firm and and got the part. He had $1 million to make it, and of course one of the biggest movies of all time, one of the most significant movies of all time. And what that's done, not just for the sport of boxing, but I think it's like Jaws, and I know we're all celebrating the 50th anniversary of Jaws at the moment, but it's an iconic movie like that that just crosses the generations. And 50 years later, Jaws is probably still seen as the scariest movie of all time, with regardless of all the CGI effects and all that sort of stuff they have these days, and the resources and the money and all this sort of stuff. And the studios they have these days. Remember, Jaws was filmed out in the open ocean. And then you've got Rocky, which is probably the most inspirational movie of all time, and the significance of that still has on our culture. And to think around that time, I know I'm getting way off kilter here, supposed to be talking boxing, but to think around that time when we had Jaws, we had Rocky, we had Star Wars, just some of the most significant, well, I've said significant a few times, but you know, just some of the most massive movies of all time, all around that same time. And where are those movies these days? With all the money, like I said, the resources, the backing, where are those movies these days? Does it reflect our society that we can't come up with any ideas anymore? And remember, those movies weren't made on massive budgets. Well, Star Wars probably would have had to have a little bit of a budget, but it was all three movies. Jeez, mate, calm down. I'm trying to do a video here. I'm getting attacked by cockies. Yes, do you want to be on the... You can probably see him up there, and you can't anyway. But the thing I will say that's probably in common with all of those movies is that they were three, well, obviously massive movies, but they were made by three people that nobody believed in. We're just lucky that these days where we just do not give those people a chance, and unless it's a guaranteed blockbuster superhero movie or something, we don't back people. Is it just our society these days? No one's prepared to take a risk, especially in the movie industry. I can't remember the last time I went to the movies, by the way. But is that something in common, that George Lucas, Steven Spielberg and Sylvester Stallone, nobody believed in them, didn't believe in the movies, thought they would fail. All three were almost sacked from making the movies, but they all held firm, got through it, and they've become three of the biggest movies or franchises of all time, probably the biggest franchises of all time. And the common denominator is that all three of them weren't wanted, and look what they produce. So again, where's that creativity these days? Everyone's just lazy, and we'll just get someone's book and make that, or whatever it is. It just reflects society these days, if you ask me. Music's the same. Where's the big bands these days? When I was, mate, come on, you're pushing it here. You can probably hear that. Well, same as the music. I know I'm going way off kilter here, so it might be a long video, this one. Where's the music? When I was growing up, it was AC/DC and Metallica and Guns N' Roses and Kiss and Motley Crue, and then into Pearl Jam and the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Nirvana. Where are the big bands these days? Who are the big bands? Is there a big band? Or are they all just rehashing all the bands from our era? Anyway, we'll move on. But Sylvester Stallone, happy birthday. Not just about the Rocky series, but all the great movies he's brought out over the years. And even to the point the last couple of years with, is it Tulsa King on Paramount? Make sure you watch that. It's a great series. He's the first time he's gone into TV, and just hit it out of the park. Just a great series. The other one to actually watch while we're on the subject of series is check out Mobland with Tom Hardy. Pretty cool as well. It's another mob show, but really worth a watch. But again, happy birthday to the great man Sylvester Stallone, and it actually meant a lot when I was in Philadelphia last year to go on the Rocky tour and see where he got that movie, or those movies filmed. It was an awesome experience. So anyway, all right, on to some boxing. And overnight, well, this morning actually, Skye Nicolson is back. She's had a second round win. I'll just grab Neil. Oh no, you should be right. It's just Skye walking his dog over the road. He's pretty good, Neil. He doesn't give a toss about other dogs. But Skye Nicolson, she has got back on the winners list, I suppose you could say. But what are we doing? What are we doing? 140th in the world, the girl she fought. I can't even remember her name. I watched the fight this morning, not live. It was on probably, I think, about 3 o'clock in the morning or something. And forgive me if I don't get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch Skye Nicolson fight. But hey, good on her. She's back. She's down at 122. I get it. They've got her in with an opponent. It's going to be a nice transition into the division. I get all that. It's a comeback fight after losing a world title. But are you kidding me? You can't come up with someone that can at least stand up and throw a proper punch. It reminded me of with Jazzy Parr a couple of months ago with the Thai girl they fought, jumping around like it was, Sugar Ray Leonard beating, Marvin Hagler or something. After doing that, you had Skye Nicolson who, look, this girl, she fought. I mean, she looked like a girl who'd done boxercise for half a dozen sessions, said, oh, that looks fun in the ring, let's jump in and have a spar. And then jumps in with an Olympian and former world champion and gets absolutely belted. Had no idea how to hold her hands up, no idea how to throw a punch, no idea how to step around, nothing. And the promoters of that should be embarrassed to put that fight on a big card over there in England. And I know she's Aussie and I'll always stick by the Aussies, but that was an absolute joke. And I cannot believe in this day and age with what we're trying to do with our sport that they allow that sort of fight to happen. And with Skye afterwards, again, I'll always back the Aussie, and good on her, she got a win. That's fantastic. But the way, when the referee called it off, charging off like she's Mike Tyson who just knocked out Michael Spinks, I mean, come on. I would go back to the corner if I was her, say, get me the hell out of here, and go back and hope not too many people saw that fight. And again, look, it's not Skye's fault, I suppose, that they've matched her with that girl. She's just, she's promoted by Matchroom and they've just said, look, just there you go, here's an opponent. We'll get your win back. But just treat it for what it is. I mean, it was, for a big company like Matchroom, I was very critical of No Limit doing it with the Thai girl against Jazzy Parr, who she would have got a better workout doing the pads out the back for 5 minutes. Same as this. I mean, Skye just should have stayed in the gym and sparred a local girl and would have got more out of it than this pathetic choice of opponent. I mean, this is the thing, 140 in the world as a female. I didn't think there was even 140 women in the world that actually fought professionally, let alone in this division. So in the 122-pound division, she's managed to be 140. I would have thought in the whole division there's probably 40 or 50 girls worldwide. Well, there's apparently 140, and she seems to be at the arse end of that. Just embarrassing. But just the girl they put in there, as I said, just had no idea with footwork, even just to hold her hands up to block a punch. Anyway, I'll back the Aussie. Good on her. All hail Skye. I'll do it. But Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, you need to do better. You need to do better. Anyway. All right, a couple other things. We've got the Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev. Looks like the fight's going to be in Russia. Can you believe that? How does that happen? Apparently, Turki Al-Sheikh has signed off on not doing it in Riyadh. They're going to do it in Russia. We are in July, so we are, I think, are we running out of time to organise something in Russia? How the hell can they do it in Russia? I mean, they're at war, and I don't want to hear all the political things about this, by the way. They shouldn't be allowed to do it, with what's going on. I'm not worried about all that. That will be decided in due course by whoever gets involved, and I'm talking about purely on a boxing front. You wouldn't have thought that a country that it's at war, in an active war, I know it's mainly in Ukraine, but, Russia are involved in the war, and this thing at the moment where they can't even mention where they're from at the moment. When they get introduced, when they fight anywhere around the world, they don't say they're from Russia. They say they're from wherever they're basically based at that time, where they're living, and they can't show their flags and all that sort of stuff. And we're about to have an undisputed, well, it won't be undisputed, will it? All the belts except the WBC. They're about to have a world title fight featuring all those other three belts in Russia. They're going to have to announce it as being in Russia. I don't know how it's going to work, but surprising that Turki Al-Sheikh has allowed it. I would think he would say, boys, if you want the money that I'm going to put up, this is a Riyadh season event. It has to be in Riyadh. I understand you want it in Russia. Well, that's great. Go get another promoter to do that, and they can pay you probably half for what you're going to get paid with me. That's what I would have thought Turkey El Sheikh would do. Come here, man. But yeah, I don't know. It's a big fight, but is Arda better beef? I mean, what's it been? It's been, what, 7, 8, 9 months, whatever it's been. But if it does even happen by the end of the year, what sort of better beef are we going to see? We know Bivol will still be in good enough condition age-wise and everything else. Better Beef's had injuries. He's getting on age-wise. I don't know. I'm fascinated to see how they're going to put together a fight in Russia. And again, why Turki Al Sheikh actually allowed it. But we will see. The other one was Fernando Martinez. Bam Rodriguez has been added to that November card. So that's going to be a ripper. So we've got Benavides and Yard. We've got Norman and Haney and Noakes and Mason as well. So 4 world title fights on that card. Should be a really good card in November. I won't say that. I think they dubbed it a super card. I wouldn't go that far. Wouldn't go that far at all, but it's going to be a really good card. So keep them coming. 4 world title fights. So anyway, now one other thing I want to quickly go over. Being the July 4th celebrations this week, they actually did an article, I think it was in Boxing Scene, and they had the best Americans of each decade in the last, however long it's been, since the 1880s. Just want to quickly go over it and see what your thoughts are, and probably just quickly who maybe the international best fighter was around the same time. So I can't comment too much on the early ones. 1880s was John L. Sullivan, 1890s was James J. Corbett, 1900s was Jim Jeffries, 1910s was Jack Johnson, 1920s was Jack Dempsey, 1930s was Henry Armstrong, 1940s was Sugar Ray Robinson, probably no argument with that. 1950s was Sugar Ray Robinson. Isn't that amazing? You've got a guy who's been the best fighter over 2 decades, and no arguments there either, by the way. Then it gets a little bit interesting. Muhammad Ali in the 60s, yes. Well, he won the world title, but apart from that, did he do a hell of a lot apart from winning the world title? He backed it up with a win over Sonny Liston, but I don't think he did. I think, well, obviously the last 3 years of the decade he was outcast. So just trying to think who else there would have been. He did beat the likes of Floyd Patterson, George Chuvalo, Ernie Terrell, Cleveland Williams. They got in there, but yeah, just trying to think who the international one would have been. Not sure. Anyway, 1970s was again Muhammad Ali. So again, another fighter being the best fighter over 2 decades. Yeah, of course, lost to Fraser, but beat him twice as well. The win over George Foreman, lost to Spinks. Yeah, probably 1970s. I'm trying to think in America. Yeah, well, look, no one else really stands out. Internationally, of course, Roberto Duran, Carlos Monzon, Alexis Arguello come to mind as far as the best fighters internationally. 1980s, they've got Sugar Ray Leonard. Yes, wins over, we lost to Duran, of course, but had wins over Hearns, Hagler. Yeah, but he was also he was probably out for about 3 years as well, wasn't he? So, but I would have thought fighters like Larry Holmes, well, they've got here Larry Holmes, they're not so much Michael Spinks. Mike Tyson, definitely you would think would have to be in the 80s. I mean, he unified the world titles, defended it numerous times, but that was probably when he was at his absolute peak up until the end of 89. So, but yeah, maybe Tommy Hearns you could make an argument for. Yes, mate. Marvin Hagler's another one. I would probably think, look, if you're going to boil it down, you would have to say that, yeah, Sugar Ray Leonard probably just over Marvin Hagler. Yes, mate, I hear you. I see you there. Over Hagler because they actually fought and he beat him, so okay. But that's an interesting one. There's some other arguments there. Internationally, in the 80s, well, you probably make another case of Duran, but Julio Cesar Chavez is probably one that's got to be in there as well. I don't know. There's, I mean, there's just so many to think of at the moment. It's hard to sort of rattle them off. I'm out here walking Neil. But 1990s, I've got Roy Jones Jr. Oh, geez, I would have thought Pernell Whitaker would be up there. Geez. Who else we got there? Felix Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya. Not so much Bernard Hopkins, James Toney, Mike McCallum. I don't think they would have fallen into that because Jones Jr. beat them all. But, yeah, I don't know. I would probably have Pernell Whitaker in there. And internationally, again, maybe a Julio Cesar Chavez. Anyway, that's what they've got. The 2000s for 2 decades. Come on, man. Floyd Money Mayweather in the 2000s. Yes, I would probably say that. I think up to 2000, well, probably for the next decade and a half, it was Floyd Mayweather. Internationally, you would have Manny Pacquiao. I mean, that's an easy one, isn't it, for those years as well. And then this is the interesting one for me. The 2020s so far, American-wise, they've got Terence Crawford, I suppose, in the 2020s. Yes, I would probably agree. Well, when you think about it, if Terence Crawford's it, you would probably say that there hasn't been too much to get excited about if you're an American fan of just American fighters. Internationally, I mean, it's Alexander Usyk, without doubt, you would say. Maybe it's going to be Naoya Inoue by the end of the decade. Canelo Alvarez, of course, is probably the main threat there, 2020s. So, yeah, look, as I said, look, I love Terence Crawford. Let's see what he can do in September against Canelo. But it's not like, I mean, he's had the win over Errol Spence, Sean Porter, a couple of other guys in there as well. But, geez, if that's it, Terence Crawford for, 5 years into the decade, that he's the best American, yeah, well, it hasn't been a great decade if you're an American fight fan, has it? But apart from that, who would it be, Alexander Usyk or Canelo Alvarez? That's a good argument as far as internationally. I think you would have to just give the edge to Alexander Usyk. Canelo Alvarez has been a great champion, but the fact that Usyk's beaten Fury twice, Joshua twice, Dubois once, and maybe it's going to be twice, I think that, and then as well as unifying the cruiserweight titles, all that sort of stuff, I think that obviously, I would think makes him just in front of Canelo Alvarez. But worth a read anyway of these great fighters. As always, give me your thoughts as well. So guys, that's going to do it for this Sunday. Hope you have a great day, and we'll catch you tomorrow.